Have you ever looked around different neighborhoods in your city and wondered why some areas seem to have everything? Great schools, plenty of stores, well-maintained parks, while others appear to lack basic resources? The answer lies in a practice from the 1930s called redlining, which continues to shape our communities today. During the Great Depression, the federal government created a system to evaluate neighborhood risk for mortgage lending. They drew maps of cities across America, rating areas with different colors. Green neighborhoods were considered the best investment. Blue areas were still desirable. Yellow meant declining, and red was labeled hazardous, a designation that would impact generations to come. The criteria for these ratings weren't based on the actual quality of homes or the character of residents. Instead, neighborhoods were often marked red simply because black families lived there, or because immigrants had settled in the area, or even just because working-class people called it home. This classification made it nearly impossible for residents in redlined areas to get home loans. Without access to mortgages, families couldn't purchase homes, build wealth through property ownership, or pass assets down to their children. Meanwhile, areas marked in green received ample investment and flourished. The impact of redlining reached far beyond just black families. White working-class families and immigrant communities living in redlined areas also suffered the consequences. When a neighborhood was marked red, property values plummeted. Schools received less funding. Businesses moved away. Basic services became harder to access. The entire community faced systematic disinvestment, creating a cycle of decline that was difficult to break. Though redlining was officially outlawed by the Fair Housing Act of 1968, its effects continue to ripple through our communities today. Research shows that formerly redlined neighborhoods still face significant challenges, from underfunded schools and limited access to health care to higher levels of pollution and fewer green spaces. Even life expectancy can be lower in these areas, showing how housing discrimination from nearly a century ago continues to affect public health today. Understanding this history isn't about assigning blame. None of us created these maps or made these decisions. However, recognizing how past policies shape current inequalities is crucial for addressing them. Within this challenging history, we also find inspiring stories of resilience. Despite systematic barriers, many redlined communities built strong institutions, from churches and schools to businesses and cultural centers that continue to enrich our cities today. By understanding redlining's legacy, we can work more effectively to create positive change. We can support policies that expand access to home ownership, improve school funding, and invest in historically disadvantaged neighborhoods. We can advocate for environmental justice and better health care access in areas still feeling the effects of redlining. Most importantly, we can ensure that future development decisions promote equity rather than perpetuate historical patterns of discrimination. The story of redlining reminds us that the lines drawn on maps decades ago still influence lives today, but it also shows us that we have the power to draw new lines, ones that create opportunities rather than barriers, that unite rather than divide, and that help all communities thrive. As we write the next chapter of our city's histories, we can choose to build a future where everyone has access to the resources and opportunities they need to succeed.